What is up, folks and blokes and cherry cokes? Today we're going to talk about why Magneous is the best build former ever. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about why he is a horrible build former. Magneous by himself is awesome, but in terms of this particular type of gimmick, the build stuff, he's horrible. He's horrible. And so we have one representative from each line, and I just selected them at random. It's basically who I had handy at the office. We have Paleotrex over here, and he's from the Fossilizers Kingdom line. We have Six Gun here from the Weaponizers Siege line. We have Ironworks from the Earthrise Modulator series, and he was stomping him out pretty bad. And we have Scraphook from the Legacy Evolution Junkion series. And then we have Magneous. And I've said this over and over on the videos, Magneous by himself is a tremendous character. And so maybe we shouldn't even be comparing him in that particular line, but he does kind of come apart. But again, just Magneous by himself, and I don't know why the autofocus isn't working. Magneous by himself, the colors, the deco, the everything, the way he looks, the design and everything, he's phenomenal. But just as a build former, he is terrible. And so we're going to talk about why he is so terrible. So when we take a look at the various bots right now, I'll put Magneous off to the side. Why don't we take a look at Six Gun first and why he is phenomenal? We could almost look at all of them kind of, but here, if we take a look at the leg, well, first of all, I was going to say, when you look at the marketing material that they have for these guys, the marketing material for him only utilizes the various bits, but no torso. All of these dudes, weaponizers, modulators, fossilize, all of them, they utilized 100% of the components. Nothing is left behind. Nothing is just chilling. The Junkions do not utilize the torso in their advertising material, and this is when we started kind of seeing that gimmick go away, where all the parts of the buffalo are being used, so to speak, and he just takes it to the next level in a very bad way. But even the Junkions have much more redeeming qualities than this dude. And some people are like, oh, you're too quick to judge. You got to see until the other guys are released and all that stuff. But no, I don't have high hopes because they just have way too many proprietary connection methods that are not 5 milli. And again, really perplexing as to why they do that. I hope I'm proven wrong. And there's something like awesome, and then I can create another video and talk about how wrong I was. And yeah, but anyway, if we take a look at their legs, this has been kind of like emblematic. There is some type of port on the bottom of the foot. I mean, even all the standard robots, the non-build formers, all of them have like ankle pivot. They have like some type of port on the bottom. And if you look over here, look, there's a port here, there's a peg on a pivot on a hinge on the back. There's another one out here, and there's another port up here as well. And that's not even including the separate little slot that we have for as part of his transformation. So he even has like slots and things like that already built in. And so if we take a look at Ironworks, Ironworks even has a panel that opens up, has hinge mechanisms over here, has a port, has a peg, pivot, port, knee bend with a port in there, and even in this transformation, this can turn into something solid when multiple parts come together. Same thing for this as well. We take a look at P-Trex. P-Trex is a little bit different in that, yeah, his calf is a little bit more simplified by virtue of what they are. But even here, we have a heel that's on a hinge. We have a knee that's on a hinge as well. And we even have a fold-out peg, for Pete's sake. That's really tight right now, so I can't get it out. But even has a fold-out peg over there. And for Scraphook, there's a bendable peg right there. There's a port here. And what the Junkions lacked in terms of pegs, they did have a lot of ports though. One on the shin, you can see on the side, and one on the bottom, and a really, really versatile hinge kind of mechanism thing on the foot. And so again, if you even just look at the way the legs look in comparison to Magneous, well, first of all, can't even remove the leg. Already, that right there already, you can't even remove this thing. Yeah, you do have a panel that you can remove back here, But again, it just has one 5mm port or peg, excuse me, that's supposed to be some type of armor gimmick. There's nothing over here. Why couldn't they just have made some type of peg port, or like here? Are any of these even 5mm? Oh, you know what? I will give him props. This right over here, this is a 5mm. Nothing can slot in there, but I will say this: the diameter for this, or the length of that, is a 5mm. The connection's not great, but at least it's something. But I'm pretty sure it's not designed there to be something, what is it, to be compatible with them. But who knows? I'll hold my tongue and I'll take back everything I said if I turn out to be wrong. But yeah, so we remove this, and yeah, you have two ports over here. Why couldn't there have been a peg over here, or something, you know? And then, yeah, this can be removed too, but is this a 5mm? No, absolutely not. Are any of these things other than that? I think we just got lucky there. And even that is not a great fit. But yeah, so now we just have this like carcass. You really can't do much with this. I saw, I think it was RoboZ, who basically did something to the effect of he connected like this. And that, or something. And you can do something to that effect. And there is some synchronicity here, but again, I think it's accidental. I don't think this is really intended. And so you kind of have to go out of your way to make these things connect. It is just not as plug and play. And again, I don't want to take anything away from what's good about this guy. And what's good, I'm going to say is good. And what's bad, I'm going to say is bad. But other than like this going on over here, like, I just don't see a lot of compatibility. And so again, this, I'll give it a scale of 1 through 5. This is probably a 5. This is probably a 4. This is a 3. I'll give this a 4. Or this might even be a 2. But this can't even remove it and stuff. This is going to be a 2 or a 1. It's not that great. It's really not that great. Let's take a look at the arms. So when he has a blaster over here, but you remove this, dude, look at this thing. Port, peg, 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 port, port, port. Look at how versatile this piece is. It's incredible, you know? And yeah, it's 6-gun, and by virtue of who he is, you can do more, but then, I don't know, they're creating, like, Magneous is a brand new guy. It's like, you know, there's no design aesthetic that they have to follow. They could have done more with him, but again, let's look at Paleotrex. Now, Paleotrex, actually, this breaks down into multiple pieces. This axe blade is very, very versatile. It has a pivot over here. This can turn around. Port, pegs, 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 ports. There's a peg up here as well. This is very, very versatile. Lots of great things can be done with this, especially in conjunction with this. Like, you can utilize this, you can utilize this, and create like really, really cool like hip mechanism and things like that. And then you have the arm, the what is it? The forearm, which is separate. And so if we look at this as like one piece, there's another peg. There's a swivel here. There's a claw with the hinge, and there's another peg, and there's a port over. Excuse me, I got a cough. Yeah, that was a super meaty cough. That was gross. I hacked up hella phlegm because I'm kind of sick right now. I'm getting over it, but still sick. But this still really, really good. And I'm going to judge it as one piece right now because we judge this entirety as one piece. The ability for the bicep, the forearm, to come separate from that, again, just all this great functionality. Let's take a look at Scrap Hook. And we'll remove the accessory. Look at all these great port placements over here. The one downside of the Junkions is they don't have any pegs. They're very, very limited. But we have one over here, and this is on a hinge. We have all these great ports. Swivel on the fist. Another port over here. Swivel on the elbow. And this one, I know people talk about this being too tight and the forearm falling off. The trick is when you spin this, push upward, And as long as you do that, you're not going to have any issues swiveling this around. But yeah, not too bad over here. Pretty solid arm. Great for creating, using this as like as a pauldron and as a torso widener. His arm is not bad. Oh, you know what? Let's take a look at Ironworks. Ironworks, we have a removable accessory over there. There's a peg. There's a port up here. There's a peg over here. It's a pretty good arm, can form a crane. There's another port up here, and this shoulder thing has a swivel as well, which allows you to kind of use this for a variety of different things. And certainly, last but not least, the arm for this guy is pretty good. It's pretty good. There's a peg up here. There's a peg up here. Port. There's a bend. You can do lots of neat things with this. It's not as good as Crash Bar's arm, but it's pretty decent, I would say. And I'm trying to see it. 1 second. No, that's not a 5 milli. Once I got to clear my throat again. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But for what it's worth, this is probably the best piece that we have on the Magneous figure. Hinge over here, again, a lot of versatility. You can kind of use this and convert it into different purposes. And I think this is a pretty nice piece. And that's the only one that they've really shown, you know, where you can kind of like mix and match and stuff like that. And they showed it with, or Mark showed it off with Crash Bar. So in terms of scales of 1 out of 5, this is probably a 5. This is probably a 5 as well. This is probably a 4. And I'll give this a 4 too. Yeah. Maybe a 3 for this. Definitely 5s for these, 3 or 4s for these. We'll see. But yeah. So let me just put that all off to the side. Going back to the accessories, this bit over here for the leg, this is decent enough in that it allows you to like connect 2 vertical things together, even though you don't have a vertical port and peg connection. But I wish there was more. And this, again, this is just some aesthetic, like similar to this. Doesn't really do too much for the bot. And so, yeah. What else do we got? The modulators are interesting in that their arms are asymmetric, you know, both Airwave and Ironworks. I'm not going to go too deep into it right now because that, by virtue of who they are, their arms are just kind of different. But yeah, there's a lot of like functionality on here as well. Lots of versatility in terms of what you can do. But yeah, they're very nice pieces. Let's take a look at the torso. If we look at Airwave over here, you know what? Let's start in sequence. Let's start with 6 gun. So this is pretty nice, and this comes apart. This thing we know can turn into the giant fist, right? That's pretty cool. The Takara marketing showed this off with Sideswipe as a giant fist. Has a peg that extends, a port over here. There's another port back over here. We got these things that can become like thrusters or fingers. There's a little hinge thing that pops down. A waist swivel. Lots of great things about this. And that's just the bottom part. This top portion, we have the head. We have these things. This can become like a gauntlet. Peg, ports over here as a thrusters. These swivel pegs on the shoulder, these hinged pegs. Dude, phenomenal torso piece. Just really, really nice. Excuse me again. We look at Ironworks. We have these flappity flap things that come off. You can use these as part of like your ramps or use them in unique ways to create lower halves of torsos. This is kind of like whatever, but this piece over here, you can utilize this as a hook arm, a crane dig thing. Like, dude, you can use it as like a helmet. There's so many things that you can do with this. And again, a very nice piece as well. A little bit unconventional in terms of like how the waist does connect, but still pretty unique and pretty good. I gotta clear my throat again, 1 second. Sorry about that. You know what, earlier when we were going over the legs for Paleotrex, I should have included the thighs as well, because the thighs are considered part of the legs in terms of this entire bit. And the thighs are pretty nice. They got, you know, this peg over here, pegs on the knees, and the port placement in the middle, and the synchronicity, you know, as part of the transformation, where these things will like will connect into this, and you can make a lot of cool stuff with this. And so forgot to mention that earlier. We look at the Paleotrex body. Paleotrex body is incredible. Head can be removed. We have the buckler here that can be removed. We have all these ports, this. The head that comes undone, even one under the chin. Lots of great stuff. I mean, I know by virtue of what this transforms into, it does that, but still, really, really good piece. Very happy with that. The Junkion torso is a little inflexible. It's like a nugget with legs with these things over here. But even still, there are certain things where you can like turn this into a blaster. If you have two of these, you can kind of cascade one of them as the backpack for the other. And yeah, what am I doing wrong? But yeah, it can still fold up, and it can, I don't know, you can use this as a good support for, use this as a chunky bit for like a thigh. Like, where's his leg over here? Like you can use this to create like a leg like that, or create a leg like this. And you can utilize this for like some unconventional things, but again, not too bad. Not too great, but not too bad. There's still some decent functionality in there. And a lot of the hinge mechanisms really kind of like allow you to put this in different forms and stuff like that. And so let's take a look at mags. So I'm going to strip away all the bits. And we have his back part over here. So you take this off, and this again, a very shallow peg. No real functionality beyond that. Then you take a look at this. No real compatibility on the legs. I mean, I did show off that thing with the scrapbook a second ago like that, but beyond that, excuse me, this doesn't really, well, here, let me compress it and see what that looks like once I do. But so none of this really comes apart. Not even really. None of this comes apart. Like it's all just like one piece. There's a very, I mentioned this in the other video, but there's a very strange smell in my office right now. Not strange, unfamiliar. It's actually a pleasant smell, but I'm not sure where it's coming from or who or what it is. But it smells like flowers. Okay, so if I were to compress it, similar to what I did with like scrap hook, this is what it turns into. It just looks like a depleted and hollowed out like vehicle, like some remnant of a war or something like that. I forget where that 5mm piece was. Was it this? No. Okay, it's somewhere on the inside where you can't really see or connect. There's a couple of tabs in there as well, but those are not 5mm, and they're far too shallow to do anything meaningful with anyway. But this is what you have. This is what you have. I don't know why they didn't make this removable, or just kind of like follow the same patterns. Like, why couldn't they just have made this a 5mm connection so that you can remove it? You know, why didn't they do that? Again, I would love for the designers or whatever to come by later and reveal that, oh, the reason why we did this, why we made him so inflexible is because yada, 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 and y'all just didn't know. And that would be awesome. That would be awesome. And everyone can throw it in my face and be like, see, ye of little faith. And I would love nothing more to proclaim how wrong I was and celebrate alongside you. Trust me, there's nobody who wants to believe in these guys more, you know, not just for the sake of like my channel, but just for the sake of building and having parts, you know, trust me. And that's why I'm probably so disappointed, because I wanted to like them like so much, you know. But yeah, we start compressing this, and you fold this in, and so I'm just trying to illustrate there's not a lot that you can do with this particular torso. And why is this not working? But I am going to show you what is possible. So not a lot, everything just being very, very, very proprietary to this guy. I think for children who are like just trying to experiment with this gimmick and like, you know, like if you want somebody to try something new, you want to lower the barrier of entry. You want to make things simple. You want to make it easy to approach. And dude, what's wrong with this right now? You want to make it simple. You want to make it approachable. And otherwise, people aren't going to try it out. If they feel like something is too difficult, they might just be like, you know what, I'm not even going to bother. But for stuff like this, especially with the way it connects with the new bots, like everything just kind of like slabs on to the side. You don't really have to think much. You just think like, yay, I'm done. Like for young children, I can imagine that this is a very approachable and sellable gimmick, I guess. And, you know, very, very deliberately, they are called armorizers because they're like, hey, they're meant to be armor. And that's great, but doesn't really do much. Okay, so this is the car. This is the car mode. Then you can pop the tires on over here. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful alt mode, by the way. It has a port on the front. And they advertise it with this. But I'm hoping, one second, I am hoping in the future we get something like that we get some type of foot. I mean, this doesn't look great. There's too much like barren ankle over there, but that would be great. And this does connect right over here. And if you look at what the picture that I shared in the community tab from G0X2, he utilizes the arm from another Magneous and uses that as the thigh and uses the Magneous body as the torso. And you know what? I may try building that, and we may try to do it together. But again, just truck mode. And Scrapbook had something similar as well, but he still had a lot of different ways in terms of becoming like a lower calf and things like that. But maybe, potentially. So there's this. Another mode that we may potentially have. And I have a second Magneous over here. Give me 1 second. Let me put everything. Got a cough again. What's that? Sorry about that. He has the potential to become an arm, and I did utilize that. And as an arm, as a solid piece, that might be one of his redeeming qualities. If that is a thing, which I kind of doubt, but if we were to do, how did I do this? 1 second. did I have it like that? And this natively connects over here, so that gives it a 5mm peg. And then you can have it kind of like pivot, hinge on the feet. And you can, one second, give it one of these bad boys. There's a fist. And now you have an arm and a leg, right? I didn't do anything with these yet, but I don't know. I imagine I can affix this somewhere. And then you would have an arm and a leg mode. And they'd be pretty proportional as well. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe there is some hidden functionality that will be revealed to us at a later date. Maybe there won't. But nonetheless, as a consumer and as a fan of this kind of build gimmick that we've had for a while, I'm just expressing my distaste and displeasure. I'm not like mad. I'm not gonna go like write angry letters or something like that. It's just really unfortunate. Disappointment is the emotion, is the feeling. Yeah, I'm not angry, not upset. It's just disappointment at lost potential. What could have been, basically, what we could have seen. Yeah, let me see. I guess this can go on over here, and I guess I can find different ways to connect the arm. Like if I were to remove these tires, let's say I get like an arm right there, and then I don't know, whatever, dude. There's lots of different things you can do, but yeah, you can keep everything on, utilize everything if you want to make that arm bit. And if you didn't want to use the fist, then you could potentially just keep the head out and then close this. And then you could be like, yeah, like that's his little head. That's the fist, so to speak. And so there are things that you can do. But I don't know. I would have loved to seen, I mean, I would love nothing more if truly that there is some type of hidden bot, that there is some hidden design in the future. But typically, if there is something like that, they would have marketed it already, because it doesn't do them any good to be like on the 5th bot, to be like, hey, this is what we were hiding, and now that the other bots are out of production and it's going to be difficult for you to get them, this is what we were going to get. Normally, they would advertise it at the very, very beginning. So that you have in mind, you have some expectation in store about like what you want to buy, what you're going to do with it, how you're going to space out your buying, like all of that stuff, and yeah. So do I think that there's some hidden gimmick up ahead? No, I don't. I don't think there's going to be some massive combiner. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Who knows though? But we shall see. But yeah, so that's been a little bit of a deep dive and a discussion on these build formers. Disappointed in what we have so far. Waiting to be delighted, and waiting to, hopefully I can be wrong about all of this as well. But it is what it is, and I'll make do the best as I can in terms of building with these. But yeah, thanks for joining me, friends, and I will talk to you all very soon, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.